Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Boo and welcome to day 225 of a year change. Today we are starting up a new week. Not much is going to change this week. Again, much like last week, we're going to take this week to keep doing what we've been doing and just sort of focusing more in on our balancing everything out and making sure that our levels are where they need to be. There's a few things that I will bring up with this because usually what ends up happening is that we go through and by the end of the day we'll look at it and go, oh, well, I went above here and I went above there, so I better do, better do better. I had better do a better job. Start this over. I better do a better job. Okay, I've said better 8 times now. Tomorrow. So we plan for tomorrow, but then we forget tomorrow, and then when tomorrow becomes today, and then we eat our food, and then we check at the end of the day and go, oh yeah, I was over yesterday as well. So I think what I'm going to try to do is start just as we had planned originally, that when we were putting in our meal, do a quick search once the meal is done to take a look and say, part of it should be making sure that we aren't going way over on each meal. But at the end of the meal, just sort of taking a look at where we stand for the day so far. Now, it's about 11 a.m. where I am on Sunday, and I had a really big breakfast. So I went through and decided to take a look and see where my levels are for the day. So we'll start with the big one, for me anyway, for sodium. I'm still under 2,300 milligrams, thankfully. I'm close. I'm around 1,900. And that's mainly just because of what I had. So there's, it's not from extra salt. It's just that's for the day. So I know that for the rest of the day, I'm probably going to end up going over because having that much sodium at the very beginning of the day, you can't help but go over. But I just need to be much more aware of the sodium content of stuff that I have today and really sort of cut back where I can just to make sure that, I'm not going way, way over. For sugar, I'm well below. I'm at 8 grams for the day, so I'm happy with that. They say you should probably go, I think, 7.5 or 8 teaspoons or whatever. So I'm at 2 teaspoons of sugar for the day so far. So with that, I know I'm probably going to end up going for coffee with friends, so I know that I have to sort of add that in there. So my sugar level's probably going to be okay for the day. I just need to keep an eye on it, make sure it goes that way. As far as my levels of fat, it's around 35% right now, but I've only gone through, just over half my calories so far for the day. So in order for me to just sort of balance that out, I need to plan ahead a little bit and just say, okay, well, I need to have something that's not quite as fatty as the stuff that I've already had. So although it can be a bit inconvenient doing something like that, I think if we're trying to find results, we need to do stuff like this. Originally when we first started out, we were just looking at the bare numbers, and that still sort of fits in that as long as you're staying below what your calorie goal is for the day, you're bound to eventually, gradually lose weight. Which, by the way, did my weigh-in today, and I'm down again, so I'm okay. Didn't quite undo all the damage that I did, in the couple of weeks before, but I'm very close. I'm so close to 60 pounds being gone, so which I did have at one point, and then I gained it some back, almost all of it back, and not 60, but for that week anyway, and now I'm just 0.2 pounds off. So, but I weighed myself 3 times, took the higher number, and it was that highest number that put me over. So that's what I'm sticking with. So I have another week to get down, and then I'll be at 60. Anyway, so we knew that we were just counting calories at the very beginning, and then as we started introducing new things in there, it does get a little more complicated, and there is that feeling sometimes where you go, it's too much hassle to do this and this and this. It is a bit of a hassle, but it's working. You're finally getting to a stage where you're losing the weight. And I know that we really put a lot of focus on, being healthy, but the weight loss is there. That's sort of, it's almost secondary to what we've been doing because as we make those changes, we're naturally going to start losing weight. But at the end of the day, a lot of us, myself included, we're looking at that number, going, I have a goal in mind for my weight. That's what I want to get to. So, it is good that we are doing this, but I think it's trying to think of the best way to say this. There is an investment of time in there, and we said that at the very beginning. You're not going to, you don't have to join a gym. If you want to, then by all means go. It's going to improve, whatever you're doing for exercise. You don't have to buy special food. You don't have to buy supplements. You don't have to buy anything. That I wanted this to be something that everybody could do. And if you're watching, then you have access to a computer, so you can log in your stuff that way. And if you don't, then put it in a book and put it online somewhere the next day or something. So just being able to, or not being able to make any sense at all. I never wanted this to be something that people started to lose, and then they're like, well, I've got to shell out more money for this and more money for that, because it does. We look for any excuse to stop. So shelling out all that money, of course, you're going to stop doing it. But with this, I just wanted it that, no, you don't have to. I mean, we're spending less on food, technically, so you have a little bit of extra. Spending more on fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, because you're probably buying more of it, it is evening out. But I have completely forgotten what my point was. Yes, we are making progress. The investment, there we go. The only investment I really wanted us to put into this was time. And way at the beginning, I said that was going to be an investment. Whether it's watching these videos or exercising, taking, not necessarily taking the time out of your day, because for a lot of us, it's a matter of, no, I have a certain number of hours that I can do things in the day. You need to get some sleep, so it's I either sacrifice in one spot or, like sleep and get up that extra hour early to do that. That's where your investment's going to be. And I think with this is sort of another investment. Going in, paying attention to what we're eating, meal by meal. Not to the point where you're saying, well, I can only have 2 teaspoons of this now because of this. Just being able to monitor that a lot more closely is going to help. Oddly enough, when I went in to check my levels for today, and this is something that's really weird, of all the things for it to advertise, MyFitnessPal is owned by Under Armour Fitness now. Or Under Armour or something or other, whatever they are. Clothing, equipment? Under Armour. So it's called MyFitnessPal. It is designed to help track food. It'll assist in weight loss and all the other stuff. And one of the ads that they have at the bottom of when you're going in and checking your food, and oddly enough, right when I'm going through and checking my fat levels, there's a little pop-up at the bottom for an ad for Denny's. So, MyFitnessPal, you need to smarten the fuck up and pay closer attention to what you're advertising, because I know that's sort of keeping you in business, but we aren't paying for it anyway. So it's a little odd. But it's actually an app for Denny's. We don't have Denny's where I am. I'm on the east coast of Canada. We don't have them here. We've heard the tales of racism, so we aren't too sad. But it's just weird that there's an app for. I mean, I'm sure that McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's and all the other stuff, they have those too. But it's just really weird to see an app for a fast food restaurant on a fitness app as one of their ads. Anyway, just thought it was weird. Figured I would share. So, getting back on track. When we're tracking these things, just like today, for example, I know I'm going to end up going over my sodium level, because there's no way I'm going to go for another 12 or 14 hours without having 200 milligrams of sodium, unless I just stop eating. And I'm not going to do that, because then you start getting into, okay, well, I can't have sodium, so I got to cut out everything that way. And just to be safe, then I'll cut back on here, and then you're eating 1,000 calories a day, and then it drops down to 800 and 600, and things get worse. So I know I'm going to be going over, and it's mainly because of that one meal. So all I need to do is just be very, very careful. Try to avoid, like, if I'm going to have a snack of something today, I'm not going to go for, beef jerky. There's a lot of sodium in that. I know that there is, so I'm going to avoid that and go for something else. The same thing, thinking ahead for tomorrow, I just know that tomorrow I really need to curb my sodium levels. So I'm going to pay attention, trying to find a few things that I have that are going to be not necessarily branded as low sodium, but just avoid things that probably are going to have sodium in them. Just so that at the end of the week, it sort of evens out to where it needs to be. Because going day by day, if we were able to keep it just so that all of our levels are exactly right all day, every day, then you're measuring out every ingredient for every meal, and you're having the same thing every single day. It's not really practical, it's not sustainable, and I don't think it's anything that any of us are going to do. So, but putting in this time, yes, it's sort of annoying, and there are so many people that I've spoken with as well, they're just like, I don't have time to track everything. Well, you do, because when you're putting something in, it takes 2 to 3 minutes to actually, even if assuming that you don't have them in your recent items, to put everything in there. If you're on FitnessPal or Lose It or whatever app that you're using, once you get into it, you know how much time it takes to actually put stuff in there. So flipping over and just taking a quick look at where your levels are and then doing the quick math in your head, it's not going to be that hard. And I mean, I understand there are people that are busy all day, every day, but literally taking that 3 to 4 minutes when you're in line getting your coffee for the morning, or if you're on your way down the stairs to your car, whatever it is, just take a quick look. Maybe not down the stairs, because if you're not paying attention, you could fall. I've fallen up the stairs. I've never fallen down the stairs. I've fallen up the stairs plenty of times. I've never fallen down the stairs, but that's probably because I watch where I'm going. Anyway, just quickly scanning through that, and after each meal, especially while you're eating, as you're putting it in, then quickly scan through and say, okay, well, when I'm done this meal, I know roughly where my points are, or my levels are. Scan whatever it is, whatever points or levels, it doesn't matter which. So just putting in that time, that is something that I think that we need to do. And some of you may have already been doing this. You may just be sitting there going, we've been doing this ever since. Well, I unfortunately have not. I've been sort of checking things every couple of days because I tend to forget. But going in, just being aware of it, I think is going to help narrow things down a little bit, like focus-wise, and keep me on track. So this week, when I went back to proper eating habits, and I've gotten rid of all the little things that have been sort of going through and paying more attention. Little things have been going through. That's vague, right? Yeah, you know what I mean. And sort of focusing in on what we've been doing so far without adding new things into it, it has helped because I have made progress. So I figure I've got another week of this, get past that little milestone, and then we can start into the carbohydrates and stuff like that, which I have decided is going to be carbohydrates, by the way. So, surprise. Not really. Anyway, I think just if we take another week of doing this to get us to where we need to be, then I think it's going to go much smoother, and then we can start introducing new things. And like the carbohydrates and the fat, or the protein and fiber, are going to be a little bit different because it's not a matter of us avoiding something. It's just a little bit more information and, seeing what things are going to be higher in it. And I'm not going to say, we need a low-carb diet or a high-fat diet or anything like that. No, we're looking for balance all the way around. We still need carbohydrates. We still need sugar. We still need fat. We still need sodium. We need all of it. It's just getting to that proper place and being able to make sure that, we're paying attention and that the levels are where they need to be. That's the important part. So I don't think it's too much of, it is a bit of an investment in time, but the payoffs so far have been huge. And we haven't even really been sort of getting to the nitty-gritty and doing this every single day. And if you aren't doing it every single day, if you're only doing it, once a week or once a month, whenever you check it, then sort of, if you're doing it once a month, bump it up to once a week. If you're doing it once a week, do it once a day. Just so that we're much more aware, in a much closer timeline as to what we're eating, and it's going to help us keep our levels where they need to be. And yes, it's an investment, but as I say, the payoff is working. We are making progress. We're losing. It sounds bad. We're losing weight. We're getting healthier because we're still taking in the same number of calories that we normally would, but we're getting it from better sources all the way around. And I think that's going to help improve things too. So anyway, that's it for this week. There's really no changes other than that. Nothing that we have to really sort of plow on through and keep going. I'm going to be actually knocking down my treadmill another 100 calories this week. This is the last week I'm going to be tracking my treadmill. On the positive side anyway. I'm still going to be tracking it, but this week when I do my hour, then I'm just marking down that it's only burned 100 calories. And then next week, it's just at 0. So it won't even show up on MyFitnessPal, and it will just be, I know what I need to do, and hopefully, it's much better than it was, because originally when I was burning off 700 calories, then I had that and I could eat it. And I know you're supposed to, but I find that by sort of cutting back the way I have been, I'm not starving and saying, well, because I exercise, I'm so much more hungry today. That aspect has been gone for quite a while. It's just part of my routine, and there have been a couple of times when I've forgotten to actually track it until the end of the day, and I go, I need to add that in there. So it'll be kind of nice to just have it at 0, and I won't need to worry about it in a couple of weeks. But this week, I'm going to drop it down to 100 calories, and that's my miming for MyFitnessPal stuff. So, that's the end of the week, and the beginning of the week. And then after this week, then there will be 0 calories on the treadmill. So, and then gradually, I'm still moving towards a goal. I'm at, this week is going to be once every 10 minutes that I do a minute of jogging, which is weird because I started out, I think, at every 20, somewhere around there. So, been about 10 weeks of doing this. So, and gradually I'm getting to that point where it's actually getting annoying because you're walking and then you start jogging, and there have been times I've been able to keep going. But then you've got to stop and adjust, and then you've got to start again. So I'm just thinking ahead, thinking once I get down to like every minute or every 2 minutes, I'm just going to be changing and changing and changing. So I might sort of just, I'm going to try to figure out if there's some way I can actually program my treadmill so that it will do it automatically. So that at the 10-minute mark, it goes up to this speed, and then at the 11-minute mark, it goes back down, and just sort of go that way. That would be the smart thing to do, because then I don't have to fiddle around with buttons and everything else all the time. So I may do that. Anyway, for right now, though, I'm going to leave this video here, so thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me, and in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.